This is not our story. This is the story of conservation and responsible volunteerism in South Africa. Our journey will reveal the excellent work being done to save wild animal populations, but also how ugly the wildlife conservation industry has become, and how you, as the viewer, can help stop these crimes against nature. So this is our mission. We are going to travel South Africa from top to bottom and reveal the truth beneath the facade of volunteering for wildlife. We are also going to reveal the heroes that are giving their all to fight back against lax laws and corrupt operators. You'll hear about responsible tourism from the volunteers themselves, and this will help you and future volunteers to make informed choices. This journey will change our lives, and as difficult as it is, we hope the change inspires a real shift in thinking for you. This is Volunteering for Wildlife. My name is Katie Reynolds, and my life as a magazine editor in the tourist hub of Cape Town has shielded me from the truth about the so-called wildlife conservation industry. Born and raised in the mother city of South Africa, my life is ruled by meetings and deadlines, but my true passion lies with wildlife. Brian Gow, producer of the show, lives in Australia and founded Wildlife Conservation Channel, a channel that produces wildlife films for conservation and video on demand. With a background in marketing and volunteering, this filming project is a dream come true for him. When he approached me to travel with him in South Africa and find out the good, the bad and the ugly about volunteering for wildlife, my heart jumped and I couldn't refuse this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Shamwari Conservation Experience is situated in the Shamwari Game Reserve, less than 1 hour away from Port Elizabeth in the Eastern Cape province of South Africa.
Katie.
Quentin, welcome
Hi.
to Shamwari.
Nice to meet you.
Hi,
Katie.
Conrad.
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
Hi,
Katie.
Alicia.
Nice to meet you.
Brian.
Glorious day you've organised for us.
Lovely, lovely. It's fantastic. Brian, morning. Welcome to Shamwari. Come with us, let's get you settled.
Cool. Thanks.
The volunteer program offers a diverse experience that exposes participants to real conservation issues and tasks, with a chance to make a sustainable difference through their participation. First thing on the agenda, find out from real volunteers what they are doing to help wildlife and what made them choose Shamwari in particular.
I think you hear stories about certain ones that haven't got a good reputation, so you do worry, I think, but as long as you do your research and you make sure that you've picked a reputable company, then like this one is very good. It's not too hands-on in the sense that the animals are being sacrificed for volunteers, so it is very good.
And your day-to-day, what are your activities?
Well, different things. Different thing, yeah. That's one of the nice things about this volunteering project, because you wake up and you never do the same thing twice.
There is truly nothing better than a barbecue, or a braai as we call it in South Africa, to end off our first day on a high note under the African stars. As the fire sparks in the darkness, it strikes me once again how important it is to tell the true story of conservation. It's another exciting day for the volunteers at Shamwari Conservation Experience. New volunteers have just arrived and are receiving their orientation lecture.
So what we try and do is, maybe a good example would be to do manual work in the morning, let's say doing that alien vegetation, and then going back to maybe rhino monitoring in the afternoon. And then the next day doing road maintenance, fixing roads or whatever, and then afternoon doing a project on birds or whatever. So just to try and get to all of our different projects that we've got here.
Each volunteer goes through this 2-hour presentation, which highlights the history of the reserve, the wildlife that call it home, as well as the conservation activities that they will get involved in.
Equipment here. The rhinos, I spoke about that earlier, the rhino poaching problem. That's the main concern for us, is not to just find out how many there are, if there's babies, ages and all those things. It's actually to physically see the rhino and tick it and say, there's the rhino, it's not been poached.
Shamwari is not only about volunteering for conservation, but also offers prospective vet students the opportunity to gain valuable knowledge and work experience by participating in the Eco-Vet program. Megan Sinclair, Wildlife Rehabilitation Manager, invites me to assist her with her morning mommy duties to 2 orphaned antelope lambs.
As you can see, this is Ella and Tani. Ella is a baby and
Hi, Ella. Hi.
And Tani's a bit more feisty, so don't forget him. Come, boy.
What happened to Ella? What happened to her legs?
Ella basically came from a farm, and the sides of her legs here, the ligaments are quite weak. So what happens is she kept on collapsing onto her joint there. So what we've done is we've just placed a splint on either side to help support her until she's strong enough to walk on her own.
Poor baby. And how much animal interaction do the volunteers have?
We try not to have too much interaction, because the whole point of us having the rehab centre is to release the animals back into the wild.
Yeah.
So we like to just be able to, with her, unfortunately there is quite a bit, and I do let people touch her, and species specific I will let certain people touch, but I try to have as little interaction with the animals as possible, just so that they have a better chance when they get released back into the wild. Get in. Get in. Yeah, you've got to drink that. Just watch me.
What sorts of injuries are you dealing with in the centre?
Gosh, he's gone.
Here he goes.
We don't have too many injured animals. It's basically a lot of orphans. We do have a sable antelope with 3 legs we had to do an amputation on. It's not something that we would normally do, but the owner requested for us to do that. But otherwise, normally it's broken legs. That we do get a lot of broken legs that do come in, and we try and assist where we can, but broken legs in wild animals is very difficult.
I can imagine.
So, but it's mainly a lot of orphaned animals that we're just able to get to the right age where they can fend for themselves and be released.
The Shamwari group ecologist, John O'Brien, has set aside a couple of minutes out of his extremely busy schedule to explain a bit more about the land and the concept behind the volunteer program.
John, you mentioned that you have 25,000 hectares here. Have you had to alter the land at all, or is it original?
The only land we had to alter, which was the area around the Bushman's River, which would have been cultivated through agriculture in the past, you know. This is a marginal agricultural area, and it's suited towards game. So the land is about 75% in its natural state.
And can we talk about volunteering? What was the initial concept for the volunteering program?
I think the whole concept of the volunteer program has sort of like 3 fronts. Okay. First of all, it's a good experience, and it gives people and youngsters a chance to get involved in wildlife work and experience it. Second of all, it benefits us as well, because when they leave here, they become ambassadors for the reserve, and they can go out and spread the word. And thirdly, the reserve itself and the animals benefit because they assist us, and they create an additional workforce per se.
And is it true that you've had a couple of people come back more than once?
Yes, yeah, we got several people that come back on a regular basis. One lady's been back 8 times already.
It's amazing.
Volunteers contribute hugely to the upkeep of the enclosures where the predators are kept, but of course, no contact is allowed with the animals whatsoever. Tasks include removing old carrion, cleaning out the water troughs, as well as repairing fences.
Get it out for me. You're doing well, guys. Thanks a lot, man.
No, it's activated.
Pardon?
It's activated.
Only this one, only this one. But it's got a nasty bite wound in the back there. You can see those patches are right into the skin.
Yeah.
A volunteer operation of this magnitude and success can only be as good as its people. Quinton Gilson has been the driving force behind the Shamwari conservation experience for the past 14 years. We meet him at the behind-the-scenes Boma area, where he explains why a black rhino cow and a 10-week-old calf have been removed from the main reserve.
Shamwari is about keeping wild animals in the wild. So from a management perspective, this isn't ideal, but it just shows the importance of the type of decisions which the wildlife team have to make, and the sensitivity around them with protecting in particular a species which is being poached out throughout Africa.
After spending time with Quinton, you can feel his passion and love for this project and our precious wildlife. I feel more at ease after seeing and experiencing all the good that Shamwari does and has done for conservation.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
We're on a tight schedule today. After quick goodbyes and a million thank yous, we are on the road down to the Western Cape to the Knysna Elephant Park, situated in the heart of the famous garden route. The locals affectionately call this area Eden, and for good reason. The forest would never be so lush if it weren't for the amazing amount of rainfall that graces this area. Wild elephants used to roam the forests freely until man arrived and almost decimated the entire population. In 1994, there were only 5 suspected Knysna forest elephants left, still somehow managing to live in close proximity to people. After hearing about 2 elephant calves orphaned after a cull in the Kruger National Park, it was the perfect opportunity to bring their numbers back to the mystical Knysna forests, and the Knysna Elephant Park was born. We are warmly greeted by the team at the park.
Welcome to the Elephant Park.
Thank you. Hi.
Hi.
I'm Katie.
Hi.
Brian,
Hello. Hi, Laurie. Nice to meet you.
I'm sorry I brought this Cape Town weather with me.
That's okay. It's all right. The elephants love it. We work in all weather, so it's not a problem.
Cool.
Come through.
Thanks. Thank you.
And after a quick look around, Brian gets to chat in detail, while I go and get my hands dirty with the volunteers.
So how many elephants are here?
In this particular herd, this is what we call our matriarchal herd, and this is 7 elephants. So we've got the 2 young boys that are 7, 8 years old. We've got Nandi, her daughter Tandi. That elephant walking away from us is Keisha. She is also turning 13 this year, but she was actually an orphan that came in as a 6-week-old calf. And then way down there we have our matriarch Sally, and on the right hand side of her is Tatu. She's the youngest. She's 6.5.
So what are the main challenges you face in looking after so many elephants?
Well, you're looking at it. Having to provide food and good quality food is very, very important. Obviously they have 45 hectares, sometimes even more to roam on and graze on. But browse is also very important for the elephants. So this is Port Jackson. It's actually an alien species, and we have a team on the park dedicated to going out to surrounding farms and actually cutting browse for the elephants.
Right.
So, how much of the stuff can an elephant eat in a day?
In a day, the elephant eats around 200 k's a day.
Wow.
So, yeah, a lot.
Grab one for me.
Don't touch it because this, yeah.
Why is it so itchy?
This little hairs going directly into your skin.
I see.
So, yeah.
In the wild, elephants will eat for 18 hours a day. We can't just put food bowls down in front of them 3 times a day. So for us, it's very important that they get good quality food, and they get food for as long as possible during the day and the night. Because if you watch an elephant, pretty much all they do is eat. If they're not drinking, if they're not interacting with another elephant, they'll be eating.
Very nice. And the elephants love to eat this. This is like a treat, a dessert for them.
So do you have to get the support of suppliers for the other, like fruit and so forth?
We have very good suppliers that provide us with very good fruit, vegetables. We've actually just purchased that farm behind us. We actually just purchased that farm last year, and that land is being used specifically to grow vegetables for the elephants. A couple of months ago we had our first crop of sweet potatoes, watermelons, butternut and beetroot that were actually grown specifically for these guys.
Okay.
So what is this box?
This is an enrichment box.
Yeah.
Something to preoccupy with them with. We're going to fill all that.
Oh, cool.
With, and We're going to try to figure out how to get the fruit and the banana grass out.
So it's like a puzzle box with the treats inside.
Yep.
That's cool. Okay.
And now you put the banana grass just randomly in the...
Randomly in all sides. Okay. So we're just going to put some bonnet grass into this puzzle box for them, this enrichment box, and then they stick their trunks in and get it out. And apparently this is like catnip for elephants. They love it. So this is lucerne, something else that the elephants love. We're just going to shove this in the box as well. So you guys get your hands dirty a lot.
Yes, we do.
But it's part of the fun, right?
Yeah, all for the elephants.
This is Clyde, and that's Shaka at the back, the two bull elephants. Clyde was taken from a circus where he was being treated quite badly. And here they're enjoying the box that we put together for them.
Debbie, thank you so much.
It's a
We had a
pleasure.
fantastic
I'm
time.
so glad. It was really nice to meet you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. That was wonderful.
It was
Yeah,
nice to
a great
introduce
time.
you to the Ellies.
Thank you.
Good. We'll see you soon.
See you next time.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
So
excited?
I'm super excited. Quick flight from George to Durban, and then we can go and see my favorite animal. Did I tell you? Hyenas. So we've been in the car for about 6 hours after a minor 2-hour delay, changing over from our Hyundai van to our Volkswagen van. I think we're pretty close to Wildlife Acts, Brian.
Probably 5 minutes away, and they've organised a drive for us.
Hi. Hi, I'm Katie.
Hi, Katie. I'm Tara.
Nice to meet
Hi,
you.
Taryn, lovely to see you.
Hi,
at last.
Brian. Nice to meet you at last. How was the drive?
Pretty long,
Long,
but
tiring.
about five and a half hours.
Oh, that is long. I'm so glad to have you with us.
Thank you. Thanks
Welcome
so much.
to Wildlife Acts.
We're so excited to be here.
Let me
Thanks.
show you to where we stay, and you can meet our volunteers.
Cool, thank you. It's now 5 o'clock in the morning. We're on the back of Taryn's vehicle, and we're trying to catch up with Axel, who is the protected species monitor, and the rest of the volunteers. We're going to go have a look at the wild dogs in their dens, and then look at the camera traps. And I have a feeling it's going to be a special day. Later we're going to go track rhinos, so it's going to be awesome. Axel, what is this contraption?
Okay, this is our telemetry device that we use. So this is the antenna and the receiver, which we use to pick up the radio collars that are fitted onto the wild dogs. The more height you get, the better. And then I'll just do a 360 turn around us. So do all the way around. You can hear signal there.
Yeah, I can hear it.
That's your back signal now.
There's more beeps. They're hiding from us. They're in the river at the bottom by the den. But if we wait, we might get lucky. She's over there. That's the female. That was absolutely incredible. We've just seen the dominant male and female, Pino and Shannon. I can actually still see Pino. Apparently he's the shy one, but he's ready for the camera today. It was incredible. My heart is beating so fast. We've just arrived at Sheba Dam. That's this one here. It's not much of a dam. It's been a bit dry, but they've set up a camera trap over here. We're going to go change the batteries. Okay, all the way out.
No, you have to pull it just like that, and then just pull with like open this, hold this end here, and then just pull with like your muscle. I can help you a little bit. There you go.
Thank you. Batteries out. Remind me.
The positive goes up like this on the negative.
Oh, I see. Okay. And then same on the opposite side.
And
then down and down.
Perfect.
Cool, thank you. Bum in first.
Bum in.
Top
in.
And down.
Perfect. And there's a couple cool shots that we've got in other reserves of lions walking with the cameras in their mouths.
I can't wait to see that.
Throwing it up and standing on it and putting it in a river, like down like this, and then picking up and looking at itself and putting it back down.
That's an elephant selfie. I love it. Cool. Thanks, Axel.
Cool. Pleasure.
Axel's love for his wild dogs is infectious, and the realization hits me that Axel has never even touched them. He has devoted his life to these animals for the purest of reasons, to protect them. And his selflessness is what drives me to continue my quest to find more conservation heroes.
Axel and I checked the camera traps today at the watering holes, and we're going to go through and look at some of the pictures, and hopefully we find something cool.
Nice
giraffe, cool!
Giraffes are usually just leg shots.
This is, oh my god, that's hilarious.
ID by his kneecaps.
That is so cool. So you can never see a giraffe's face.
You never see their face in the cameras unless
only seeing.
Yeah, we have a nice.
Rhino!
There we go.
Aha! Wow, look at the horn on that thing.
There's a nice black rhino.
That is incredible.
See, so that helps us now. Those ID shots, even though it's not a face shot, we can still ID it by like its ear structure, by its body structure, or the territorial male in the area or the female's putting through. This we can say it could be most likely would be a male because it's by himself. And if it was a female, it would be like either, I'm not saying it would have a calf, but it would most likely have a calf because most of the females in this area have calves at the moment. So then you get like even a better shot of him.
That is magic.
So yes, even a better face shot.
That is absolutely magic.
So that's, you can't, so now if it was a face shot from the front, you could ID him by his ear notches. So you can't really see, you can see he's got one, you can see one notch there.
Yeah, you can hear. This has been pretty cool experience. I think you have an incredible job.
Thank you.
Do you agree?
Yes, I 100% agree.
I feel like I'm getting the hang of volunteer work now, but it seems like a volunteer's day never ends.
We offer our services free of charge to protected areas that need us there, so with conservation work to be done. And we use our volunteers who come out and join us as essentially research assistants to fund the work that we do. So they really are engaging in real conservation work. It's a very authentic experience, and they are contributing firsthand to the work that we do in parks.
We're on the back of the game drive vehicle with Esther and Josh, the volunteers. Josh, what's been your favorite experience so far?
Probably the anti-poaching trip that I went on. There had been a report that a rhino was killed.
Yeah.
And so we went up in a microlight. I went with the APU guy, and you could see how big this place actually is. You could see the animals from the air, and it was absolutely beautiful.
Wow.
Like many, we thought that volunteering at a predator breeding project to help conserve the species was appealing. The idea of raising a lion cub in Africa sounded so romantic. Walking a big cat on a leash through the bush just sounded too good to be true. And we were so horribly wrong.
Canned hunting is where the target animal is unfairly prevented from escaping the hunter. Either by physical constraints like being in a fenced enclosure or by mental constraints such as being habituated and hand raised.
I think South Africa is most probably one of the only places in the world where we breed lions commercially, and we breed them for hunting.
The international paying volunteer industry has grown phenomenally. There are some very genuine projects where volunteers pay, they come, they get involved in very genuine conservation projects. But unfortunately, it's an industry that's grown way out of control.
You think you're going in conservation and you're going to make a difference. Most of these farms are not doing conservation. It's actually for the lion hunting and breeding.
And these students are, in many cases, being absolutely ripped off. They're told that they're rearing this poor little orphan lion cub and that it's going to go back into the wild. Meanwhile, they're part of a very brutal commercial system where they are paying to actually rear a cub that is going back into a canned lion situation.
I don't want to say the name of the place because I had really a bad experience down there. I was most of the time scared. People are yelling, you cry every second day because they're threatening you.
If you go into a lion's farm or a lion conservation sanctuary and you see like all these hundreds of lions together, that's not conservation. And especially when there's like 12 or 14 males in one camp, that's not conservation. Because in the wild, there's never like more than 2 or 3 males in a pride. Why do you think that is?
For any volunteer looking to come and work in this country or to pay to come into one of these projects, they really need to look and see how is it possible for there to be so many lion cubs available. They need to question a lot more before they get involved. And I would love to see us going away from the paying volunteer system. I mean, volunteer is you donate your services because you believe in the cause and you want to do something good. You shouldn't have to pay to do something good.
I think the guys who go on the canned hunting trips are the kind of people who like to go to the supermarket and buy one, get one free. I mean, basically, they just want a discounted operation, they want a guaranteed kill, they don't want to get too sweaty, and they don't want to go off into the bush for 10 days looking for their lion. They want to go out for 2 days, tool around a couple of 100 acres where the lion is definitely going to be found, and then kill the lion and drink a lot of beer and go home. I mean, it's pretty disgusting stuff.
For the life of me, you cannot shoot an animal in a cage and feel you've accomplished anything that's of any value.
It's one of the great ecological and conservation atrocities of the world, and it does blacken South Africa's name.
The conservation industry is not all as it should be.